across the room at somebody.
Like you do.
And he's like, yeah. So I was saying, you know what? What do you say? Then he threw a fistful of trail mix at me.
Ooh.
And then I just stopped. It's like, and that's how we get ants.
Do you want ants? Because that's how we get ants.
So, Knobs, did you throw any money at the Amplitude Kickstarter?
$20.
$20? Nice.
Same here. I was really happy to see that made it.
I apparently went a little overboard.
Uh-oh.
I donated $20 with another zero on the end.
Really? Good
So
for
you
you.
get the PS2 cover art.
Yeah, because their whole thing. So first, I want to put my money where my mouth was, where I was always saying, "Oh, I'd pay for a bunch of money." Yeah, okay, I will. I will make good on. I'll cash the checks that my mouth is writing,
Yep.
or whatever the kids say on the streets. But then it was just like, you get that T-shirt, you get it 2 weeks early, you get a PS2 case with PS2 art,
Yeah.
and you get the vinyl. The vinyl was the one that really pushed me over the edge.
Yeah. Alright, I need to share this with somebody because this is the best picture I've ever seen. Just go. It's...
Well, God, how can I show this in on the stream?
The inevitable endgame for all goth kids is that.
First off, I'm just gonna show this, just because that tickled my funny bone. But
Hold on. Twitch.
Oh,
all right, it says at the bottom, Billy Corgan's Siamese Dream.
Yes, it does.
Holy shit!
you know what was funny? Because I thought that might have been going in a different direction, but I took a picture in Little Italy the other day that
Oh, we have ads. Oh, no,
that
Twitch now.
restored my faith in humanity a little bit.
Huh.
I didn't even share show notes with you guys.
So, let me get this up here nice and close.
Okay.
Well, you really can't see it, but
It's a
there's
little kid.
well, no, it's a multiracial line of kids crossing the street holding hands. It was just adorable.
Nice.
I was like, "Aw, maybe I don't feel so shitty anymore."
Yeah, that is the best picture ever. I think that's my favorite. Like anything ever. Just
Your
Billy.
favorite non sequitur picture?
Yeah, Billy
That's-
Corgan holding kitties.
Yep.
That's the death knell of grunge right there.
Yep.
It's done.
We had a good run.
It's the final like.
And it has to read Smashing Pumpkins frontman.
Yes.
What
He
the
owns a tea house in Chicago, by the way.
Of course he does.
Of course he does.
Why not?
Because why?
What, the only thing more douchebaggery would be an oxygen bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Blah. I was trying to think of a good Smashing Pumpkins pun for the oxygen bar, and I can't come up with one.
Yeah.
Infinite airness is the only one I got, and that one's kind of lame.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Alright, you gents ready to kick this pig so I can go back to playing Diablo 3 more?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, man. It's bad. I played other stuff for a couple of minutes this week. Honestly, I just haven't had the time. We're still finishing moving.
You're gonna have to go to some meetings or something.
Yeah. It's okay.
And play Diablo at the same time.
Yeah, of course. It's just really a LAN party.
Yeah.
At least it's social.
You were supposed to get better. I'm part of a
You're
guild, and we play a lot together.
You're supposed to help.
Alright.
This isn't helpful at all.
Actually, I got way better loot. This actually was very helpful. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Yes.
Results may vary.
Alright, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I am your host, Boston. Going around the room, we have Knobs.
Hello.
And the Hannah.
Hello.
The one and only. No,
Yep.
except no imitations.
Yes.
That's the only one we got.
Yeah.
Alright,
I'm out.
I don't think we have anything to talk about at the beginning here, so let's get started with Knobs. What have you been playing this past week?
That's some refreshing water.
Delicious.
Yeah, I feel good about that swig.
Yeah.
Kind of cleanse the
Quality
palate a
one.
little bit.
If you're
Only
not
thing
watching
would be-
live stream, you really should.
Only thing better if I had some pickled ginger to
Oh,
eat.
there you go.
Yeah, so obviously the game of the month or year so far for me has been Battlefield 4.
Yes, it has.
We did that for Monday Night Game Night again. Yeah, we just kind of hop in a squad, just go at it. Naho. For those in the loop, that has been the continuous saying is Naho, because that's what the Chinese guy says when you give ammo. It's Naho. And
Anyang.
it's an Anyang moment, except it's Donnie's Anyang moment.
Nice.
Where I don't think for 3 days that's all I replied to any of his text messages was Naho. And hence all the hashtags you're seeing, Naho and Third Sock. So Third Sock is something a little more explicit for the show.
A little more
but
blue.
yeah. But it came in along the line of a very late, tired night of playing Battlefield.
That's when the best things happen. When you
Yes.
don't really
Yes.
know what you're saying anymore.
Yes.
Where things get out of control. But
Yeah.
one thing, don't discuss gas prices with us because it gets out of hand. Apparently. I missed it on Friday night, but apparently things got a little loose.
A little heated.
Yeah. A little heated. So if you're going to come to argue, come with your facts because they will be checked.
Keep your politics out of my battlefield. Not my battlefield.
Yeah, so yeah, poor Tom's, he was stuck in the middle of it, and it came like he signed on Saturday night when Scott and I were playing. He's like, "Nah, dude, you hear what happened last night?" I'm like, I caught the details, and Scott and I had a discussion, and we kind of settled it, and that's fine. He's like, "Yeah, like, dude, that was really uncomfortable." Apparently, Scott and Donnie got into a huge argument about why gas is so high.
Everybody just be cool. We're all part of the same squad here, brother.
Yeah, dude, we're Third Sock represent. Come
Yeah.
on. Anyway, so we remember my stories, my sniper battle with Vasily Zaitsev sniper battle
Yes.
last Sunday before we recorded, where he killed me 7 times out of his 11 kills. On Tuesday or Wednesday, I received a message from said Vasily Zaitsev.
Oh.
And guess what? He's German!
Hey,
So I have a new German friend.
Germans
But
love you, man.
It was the it was more of a he had the same experience that I did halfway around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That there were 64 people on this map, but only 2 mattered.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the normal message you'd expect to get over live, saying, "Oh, you're such a d-bag, you killed me this many
So-and-so your
times."
mom.
But no, it was like, and he actually provided some helpful hints. So I had to, I received a message in German, and I had to take it to Google Translator and translate to try and get what he was saying. And then I responded him with another message, but I translated in German as well. So, and then I got a response back in English from that. So, okay, so clearly he knows the language.
Yeah,
But I was blown away by it, to be honest with you. That here's a dude that I've never met, not affiliated with the show, not a listener or anything. On the other side, like an oppositional force,
Yeah.
had the same experience I did, and it was just, man, video games.
Well, and you didn't get that message that's just sort of like, yeah, noob, I totally pwned you. In German.
Right.
It wasn't the normal Xbox Live person.
Yeah.
And then then he followed me, and then after I got the message, I just friended him just because I don't know how to follow people.
Yeah, he
apparently,
seems like a nice guy.
so we it had this like moment, like holy crap, there's a dude, we don't share a common language, we just play one game, and he's played it significantly more than I did, 750 hours more than I have played. So
Well,
it makes sense why he's much better at it than I am, but he's like, yeah, dude, just don't equip the bipod or a silencer, and just instead of aiming directly for the head, aim for the marker flag. And you know what? Dude was right. I scored significantly more headshots.
Nice.
One
People
hit
helping
kills.
people.
So it was really cool. That was an amazing online moment. I rarely get any of like the bad mail or stuff, but it seems like whenever I get something like this, it's always positive. Like it's weird. And like I was talking with Seven Hender today, which I ran into him before we recorded the show. I'm like, he's like, well, yeah, maybe just 'cause you're just an inviting person. I'm like, I didn't even talk to this guy.
Yeah.
I was trying to kill him.
It's the opposite of that.
But you did it in an inviting way.
Yeah, a very friendly shot.
I guess the smiley faces I'm putting on my bullets helps.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or I'm sending them over with peace signs. Or,
Well, for me, I always, whenever I'm online and I run into someone that is killing me repeatedly, but not being a jerk about it, even over, not over voice, but just kind of in the world, sort of like, hey, I'm going to go all the way across the map to find you, shoot you with a shotgun, and teabag you, even though I just killed you 7 times with a sniper rifle.
yeah.
That's the kind of things where it's just like, really, I can't play this game anymore today or this week.
Well, and I mean that was the thing. Like I've had it out with. I've had a few of these battles over the course where someone keeps posted up in the same spot, and I just try and find them out and hit them. Actually, I had almost the same reverse moment for me where I was just lighting this dude up to the point where he just never came back. Like he just went to the other side of the map and just
I gotta
whatever.
go.
His zone is covered and there's no escape.
Yeah.
I was having a good round, but on the side note on that, like this whole sniper meta game within a game that Battlefield has evolved into for me has just been an absolute blast. Like we literally took the game that is run around and just shoot to this weird methodical sniping game that clearly slows down the pace of this game significantly. We were at a party in midweek. I think it was just Pokey and I, or Duncan the Great. I think it was. Yeah, it was Duncan. Where we posted up on this island and we were just trying to hit these guys that were 830 meters out on this battleship because they were just being douches all the way over there where they thought they couldn't get hit. And guess what? Yeah, they were wrong. I scored a headshot at 830 meters with a ×6 scope.
Jeez.
Like that's
Dr. Knobs reporting for duty.
barely see him. It was like that one shot I was making on the top of that tower where I was arcing the bullet into a bunker slit that couldn't have been more than 2 feet wide.
Yeah.
To score at headshots. Like it's moments like that. It just takes one of those shots and it makes the whole round worth it.
It just pulls you back in.
If you kill one person on a long shot, it's like, you know what, I did my part. and it was awesome because Duncan and I were like we were just like we paired up, like I was spotting, like we were literally playing sniper.
Yeah.
I was spotting, giving him distances and where the guys were next, and we were just raining death. And we were doing the cool thing, like we were playing the real big map. I can't remember what it's called. It's not Savad. It's the other one. The one where pretty much if you roll as an engineer, you're just shooting on helicopters the whole time. But we posted up like right out from our deployment, killed a couple guys, relocated to another rock, killed a couple guys, relocated to another rock, killed a couple guys, until a helicopter finally hunted us down. It's just weird. Like I don't know what it is. It's so much fun just to take a nice long, like take your time and not sit there and it's not as many bullets as you fire. It's what you're gonna land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you don't put them down in one shot, they know exactly where you are.
Yeah. Well, and it's kind of nice that it's an online multiplayer shooter that isn't, hey, I put in the time and I got the best rifle that everyone uses, and if you're not using it and you don't fire in 2 milliseconds, then you're dead. And you can never play that game.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like every gun, it's amazing to me that every gun has its own unique feel and attributes and what it's really good at.
Yeah.
There's one submachine gun that I've been killed by 90% of the time. It's this gun, and it's all the guys that have put a significant amount of time in and have done the challenges to unlock this specific gun, and it is brutal.
Yeah, but
I
at
mean,
least you
it's
can
like-
respect it because it's like, you know what, they put in the time.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
they put in the time with a weapon and they got the challenges. It wasn't like, hey, they got the season pass and they threw $20 more in to prestige 10 times. You know, they just
You
They-
could
they-
have.
sure, but I mean that wouldn't have really.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Split Second. You know, you can unlock all the cars from the beginning for like, what was it, $15-20, but you're gonna be useless with it. You know, you need to put in the time.
Yeah, because it's the. I mean, Split Second's a great analogy towards it, because if you don't know how to play Split Second, those top tier cars are worthless.
Yeah, you're just
Yeah.
driving off cliffs.
I mean, they're uncontrollable.
Yeah.
It's caged madness.
Yeah.
Especially that top indie looking car thing.
Yeah,
Like that thing is just it's
uncontrollable.
even to a skilled player, it's near
A little
uncontrollably fast.
squirrely.
Like that, you have to know the track, and all right, get your Ridge Racer grid out. You're like, all right, brake, hit the gas
Yeah.
here, come back
Fishtail a
around,
little.
hand brake, 3/4 turn, and kick it out and rip it around. Like it's
Yeah.
dumb. Like it was that amount of skill to play that game with some of those cars. Like none of them are glued to the track.
No.
Not in the least. But with Battlefield, there's so much going on. There's still so many guns and equipment to unlock, and it's an absolute riot. Like I understand why people played that so much before, but I just don't understand how I hated 3 so much.
Yeah.
And it is, and I've done some of the infuriating shotgun kills too. Like I had a dude had me dead to rights. Like I just shot over his shoulder as he was running at me. He got up in my grill. He got me like 2 or 3 times, and I pulled out my sidearm shorty and just boom. I was like, and I'm sitting there, I'm over his body. I'm like, yeah,
It's like, I'm so sorry.
like I feel for you, bro.
I know how that feels.
Yeah.
Adios. Like it's bad. It's not bad, but it's bad in a great way, because it's such a tension relief to get a kill like that, because you're in full-fledged panic mode.
Yeah.
Especially like if you're shooting a ton of bullets at someone and nothing's connecting, and he's right on top of you, and you're like, oh, what do I do? Like, I can't reload, it'll take too long. Switch to the sidearm, and then you're like, you might as well be just pop, 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 pop. Just like, might as well shoot it straight up in the air and hoping one bullet comes down and gets him.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fun. It's so much fun. Anyway, I love me some Battlefield. I do. Like, that game has had its hooks in me in ways I never thought possible. And I never really would have thought that game was that deep.
Yeah.
Because it is more than just team deathmatch. It really is. Like, it's got its incentives, and it has reasons for you to keep playing it in the best way possible. It just needs to fix, I think, a few things, and that game could be outstanding. And it seems like they're improving with every iteration of Battlefield. So,
Yeah.
fingers crossed. I picked up Wolfenstein,
Ooh.
The New Order.
Yeah. I've been seeing a lot of stuff about this.
Well, probably the longest before you hit the title card I think I've experienced yet to date.
Yeah.
Probably an hour in before it shows the title card.
Nice.
Wow.
And it's all set up and trying to figure out really why am I here on this beach type of thing, other than just to kill Nazis.
Other than Inception.
Yeah. Funny thing about it is I really knew nothing about this game going into it.
Yeah.
Really what it was about or what the storyline is. So apparently, after you raid Death's Head's whatever macabre laboratory,
Yeah.
you get captured and you get blown out of a window, and of course a piece of shrapnel hits you in the back of the head. You end up in the water. There's the title card. Yada yada yada. Really cool time lapse scene while you're in an insane asylum because apparently you're brain damaged. Like whatever. I think they akin your brains to scrambled eggs at one point.
Yeah, I heard that that kind of 14-year time lapse cutscene at the beginning was really good.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like it would speed up, slow down, speed up, slow down, like for little moments and stuff when the Nazis came in and took some more of the crazy peoples away.
Yep.
But at that end of it was probably one of the more brutal execution sequences I think I've been a part of, witnessed. Because that German just becomes unhinged. Like it was, or that Nazi, I should say. That Nazi became unhinged. And it was just brutal. Like you're sitting there, you're stuck in this chair, and it's pillow over the face, capped. Like I'm like, what? Holy crap! And then when people come to try and stop him from it, and then like the one nurse, like just almost that not looking at the guy as you walk past him, boom, right in the face. I'm like, oh, that is nuts. So far, the setup, the way the game looks, and I don't know how they made that pixel art dude look so much like the guy in this game.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, they did a great job rendering, was it Blutowski or something?
BJ Blazkowicz.
Blazkowicz,
Yeah.
They rendered him, what was the other thing I really liked? The difficulty. They actually
they
did,
kept the same difficulties.
The bib, and they captured that crazy face he does when you're shooting a chain gun for the heavy sort of blood spatter.
That madness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to play it because I love that face, but yeah, I'm not really ready for it. So I played it on the medium difficulty, the worried face difficulty.
Yeah. I've been really curious because I originally saw some kind of reviews that were sort of in the middle, just saying like, yeah, I don't know, it's weird, it's Wolfenstein, it exists in 2014, and the shooting's kind of fun, I guess. And I watched a bunch of videos, and man, that's like at the top of my wish list at the moment because it looks like it has a ton of great shooting in it, and then they try and tell an interesting story. But then above and beyond that, I think the thing that really sold me was the challenges, or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
So
the perks.
Yeah, the perks. So someone was explaining them the other day, where it's like, well, if you silently kill, let's say 5 guys with
5 guys
throwing knives, you get to carry more throwing knives. And it's like,
Nice.
oh, okay. And they were talking about, and then I was watching a video where someone was dual wielding shotguns, automatic
It's
shotguns.
cool.
And I was like, all right, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a Terry Crews moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. They let you dual wield anything, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was dual wielding the sniper rifles.
Of
They're
course
the,
you were.
The AR
Because I
marksman
would
rifles.
you.
Yeah.
Because it's awesome. Why not?
The best thing I can think of, are they like manual slides on both
No.
rifles? Because that'd be the best.
Yeah.
Just
No,
him
they're-
with his teeth. Just
They're not, but I will say one thing. Like, initially, I wasn't feeling the shooting at all. Like, I think the shooting is average for 2008.
Yeah.
And that's where like I was starting to get frustrated with it, and I set it down for a day, and I just went back to it this morning. I felt the shooting felt subpar to me, but then the story kind of crept in, and then I realized, wait, just don't aim down sights. Like, okay, that makes this game so much better.
Oh, nice.
Is not aiming down sights.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to. The gun drift is controllable in the hip fire, where it is uncontrollable down sights.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, like the part where you think you would be more steady, it's all rickety and all over the place, and it's very hard to see a reticle on the guns. Like what? Like I'm like aiming, and I'm like, I'm just might as well just I'm doing Alana. I'm praying, spray and pray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was frustrating. Everything's just really gray though. That's my only complaint, is really not being able to see enemies. But then that's that world that they created.
Yeah.
So it fits. It's just it sucks because it's what it is. But it's a mechanic you'll have to get around.
How much have
They
you played
did-
of it?
I'm probably 2 or 3 hours into it now.
Xbox One?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm a little further into it now, and I am loving it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I think I boned myself on a checkpoint to come up here and record. Like I was because I was
appreciate it.
you know what's crazy to me is in Battlefield and in this, I am spending more time sneaking around and stabbing people than any other game I think I've ever done.
Yeah.
Because it is awesome. Like it is like taking tags in 1960. Oh yeah, I should mention that the game has that 14-year time lapse between 44 or 45 to 1960. So when you wake up, it is 1960. Because when I picked up that first gun, it was like assault rifle 1960 version. I was like,
He's like, what?
okay, so
Is this the future?
What exactly happened here?
Yeah.
And the thing I hate is that the Nazis make me kill dogs.
Oh, yeah.
That's the worst.
I don't care if they're armor plated or whatever. I still want to come here.
Those are robots, I've heard.
Nope, there are dogs in armor and there are robots.
Oh, weird.
Oh,
The robot dogs, those are fine. I don't care
they're
about
robots.
robots.
Yeah.
But the dogs in the armor, I'm just like, ah. Like the ones in 1945 look like they have like a German war helmet on. It is funny. Like I was like, what is this thing coming at me? Like, whoa, look at you! So, oh hey, get off me! Stabby, stabby, stabby. But it's a really cool looking shooter. Like it has a very, very cool look,
I gotta get this game.
and it's surprising. It's surprising me at every turn
Yeah.
because we both loved Return to Castle Wolfenstein.
Oh, yeah.
Probably more than most people did.
And unfortunately, I'd never played the next Wolfenstein game, which I think was just called Wolfenstein.
Yeah, I didn't play it either.
Which
Yeah, it was
apparently
09?
this is the continuation of the story that started in Return of Castle Wolfenstein.
Really?
Yeah, and it
Oh.
continued into Wolfenstein and then into the new order. Which,
Nice.
like, first off, is
What?
crazy. Was
Yeah.
why would you continue the story in a Wolfenstein game? But there's some cool stuff they've done with. I think when people think Wolfenstein, they think of Wolfenstein 3D and hey, Mecha Hitler. But like, it's just.
But
they did some cool stuff.
Well, the fact that they made Mecha Hitler canon is even better.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
Hitler is in none of this stuff.
Yeah.
They just he's dead.
He's dead.
Okay, we're
Yep,
moving
sorry.
on.
You killed
Third
him
Reich.
already.
Yeah.
I think that's a good testament to what this is.
Yeah.
I mean, the enemies look awesome. I mean, granted, they all look like they're in Cobra, but I don't
Yeah.
care. It looks right.
And I don't remember what the developer's name is. Machine Games, maybe?
Yeah,
I think so.
But they're ex-Starbreeze guys.
Ooh, that
So-
explains a lot.
Yeah, that kind of explains why the game is as
Top
tight as it
notch.
is.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm a little disappointed because I figured the gunplay would be better.
Oh.
Yeah.
They did do one thing exceptionally right. They got the double barrel shotgun right.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's something
Like-
that a lot of games have a hard time doing.
The only other game that I remember getting it this right was Doom 2.
Yeah.
Like, it has that nice clunky breech break and coming in with the 2 bullets in each finger, just boom!
Yeah.
Nice.
And it looks awesome. Like, it's rendered amazingly well. Like, all the guns look insanely well. Like, insanely good.
Yeah.
It's the look of the game and the way the story is being presented, and how like when Blutowski is narrating anything, it's always like a whisper, like under the breath, like he's in the world talking to himself.
Yeah.
It's such a nice subtle touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like someone walking around and be like, I can't believe I'm stuck in this place, and everyone's like, he's talking to himself. What's going on?
Yeah. Yeah, but skulking around, the knife play is really cool. Like I've been really enjoying that more than anything else. I'm stealing tags in 1960.
Yeah. Man, I gotta get that game.
It's a surprise so far
Yeah.
for me. Like because it was on my radar because it's Wolfenstein.
Yeah.
Just because saying Wolfenstein is just such a satisfactory thing flying out of your mouth hole.
Yeah.
Like Wolfenstein. Like it just sounds hard and awesome.
Sounds metal.
It does.
Yeah.
It's
It
totally
is.
metal. Actually, the fun fact: the guitars from Meshuggah did some work on the soundtrack for
nice.
the new Wolfenstein game.
Wow.
Really?
So if you hear a lot of that's him.
But all things like I'm pleasantly surprised at this point, and even especially with the way the story is progressing and your kinship to the people that were taking care of you, and you meet up with their family, and the old man is a riot. Like the old man and the old lady with surgical skill with a shotgun is just the coolest thing in the world. And even the fact that he comments on it, like he opens the door and the one Nazi kicks the door open, and she cuts him down in half, and he's like, wow. I really did not expect her to have any sort of accuracy with that. It's been really good. It's been really good and presented really well, and the progression of the Nazi tech in the game has been awesome.
Nice.
So I'm really happy so far with that, and that and Battlefield. So
I might have to pick that up. That sounds really awesome.
Yeah.
pretty much all I've done this week.
All right, Hannah, what about you?
I played a couple of games. I played some Titan Attacks. Because that game sounded awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, that game's awesome.
So what is it?
So Titan Attacks it's basically Space Invaders, with some sort of modern twists. Basically, you got a ship on the bottom. You start the game, you can fire one shot until that hits the top of the screen and disappears or kills an enemy, then you can fire another shot, much like Space Invaders. The only difference here is that in between levels, so every enemy you kill, you earn, obviously, points and money. In between levels, you can buy upgrades for your ship. So you can buy, more bullets, you can power up your guns, you can buy shields, which allows you to take a couple extra hits. You can buy smart bombs, which literally just clears a level. And I don't think you get any extra money or anything for it. It just it kills all the enemies and lets you skip maybe a particularly difficult level. There's a couple other that I haven't unlocked because I haven't quite made that much money because I'm not particularly good at the game. But it's a lot of fun. Some of the upgrades, I think either I'm fairly sure I'm just not good at the game and not earning enough multiplier and money to actually earn enough to unlock some of these add-ons and things. But they seem wildly expensive. I think on average I earn maybe 200, 300 per level. At a particularly good level you might get up to 800. And if you save up and you don't need to buy anything between levels, if you've got enough shields, you've got enough power on your weapon to sort of power through a couple of other levels, you can sort of save up and get something big, like a couple of smart bombs, and then upgrade the power on your gun again, because that gets exponentially more expensive every time you upgrade it.
Yeah.
But man, it goes from 1,200 to 3,600. So it's
geez.
hey, yeah, you're gonna power up that gun. It's gonna take a while. But the nice thing is it does sort of checkpoint. So it has a series of levels. There's eight levels on Earth, and then 8 levels on the Moon, and then 8 levels on Mars. So whenever you sort of tap out of a level, you can come back and it saves your progress at the level you were at, and you pick up with all the same upgrades you had, without having to play through the whole game again, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
It takes away that sort of arcade, it's trying to steal your money feel from it, which a lot of games like this might potentially suffer from.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. It's only $12 on the Vita on the PSN store. I go pick it up. It's awesome.
It sounds a lot like Space Invaders '95.
Yeah.
Like where it was like a progression of Space Invaders with the different enemy types and the level, and not just the amount of levels, but with the power ups that would come down.
Yeah. So the power ups you can't. I don't think you actually earn any power ups in the actual levels themselves. I don't think I've gotten any if they exist. But yeah, it is fairly similar.
Do you get extra? You get extra lives at point values.
So you only get one life, but you can, like I said, you can buy shields so that you can take extra hits. So it's not like, I don't know if it's not really life based. It's just sort of, once your shields are down, it takes one hit to kill you, and then you just have to reload from the beginning of that level. So it's fun. It's a nice little time waster. It's a nice little just, oh cool, I'm going to play 10 minutes of this. Oh, I got to go do something else. Cool.
Yeah.
I picked up Transistor.
Yeah, I did too, but I haven't had a chance to start it.
So this game is gorgeous on every possible level. Like, the interface is really well done. The art's fantastic. The voice acting, as always, with Supergiant Games is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
I love the fact that everything feels... So the whole world seems to be very revolve around computers. It's very cyberpunkish. All of the abilities you get in the game, they're referred to as functions. First off, and they even have the two parentheses behind them as though they were a function call. This is I love this game just based on that.
Yeah.
So every function you seem to get from like a dead body, basically. Like, you encounter someone who's died, and there's like a thing floating above them, and you get this function from them. So all of the functions have a backstory attached to them. That is the backstory of the person you got it from.
Oh.
So there's three ways to utilize functions. There's active functions. So those get mapped to the face buttons, and you hit the button and it goes. There's like a dash move. There's your basic like sword swing. There's like a ranged attack. There's a whole bunch, and I haven't unlocked all of them. There's modifier functions, which each active function has 2 slots for a modifier function, and and you can combine all the different functions in different ways. Each function can be used as active, as a modifier, and you also have 2 passive slots.
Oh, wow.
So they're like passive buffs. So you can like combine all these functions into, I'll use these 2 as passive, and then this one with these 2 modifiers, and then this one with these 2 modifiers, and you can switch them around. And the cool thing about that is when you use it in a different slot, it unlocks a little more of the backstory about the person that you got it from.
Oh.
So you get a little more information as you try out these combinations, which is really cool. It's a really interesting way to sort of encourage like delving into the storytelling on top of delving into the combat system. The combat system is amazing. It is this really cool hybrid between like an action RPG, a turn-based RPG, and a tactics RPG. So you can go around and you can just hit the buttons on the face of the controller, and you can perform these moves, but you're not going to make any headway that way. You're going to die pretty quickly. If you hit R2, I think it is. I was playing on Vita, so it might be R1. One of the buttons, one of the shoulder buttons, activates turn mode, and that literally stops time. And you can move around. It's not on a grid. It actually just tracks your movement with like a line. So if you like line yourself up behind or off to the side of an enemy, it ticks down this bar at the top, and it sort of operates like action points, but it's not like a hard. It's not a hard number.
Yeah, it's not like just, you have 3, so I'm going to move 2 and attack 1.
Exactly.
Right.
So it's just this. It's this like timer that sort of ticks down, and you can perform actions as well. So like I can move behind a character, which puts me in the backstab position, and then just wail on them with the one function. I think it's just called crash. It's just your basic hit. But if you're in the backstab position and you've got certain modifiers, you're going to do a lot more damage. So you can also move, hit, move, hit, move, hit. And there's also a dash move, so you can... one of the things I've been doing is if I know there's some smaller enemies I need to take out, I'll dash through... I put a certain modifier on the dash move that causes it to do damage when I line it up with an enemy. So I'll dash through one enemy, dash through another, dash over to the last enemy, and just, sort of hit them. And once you fall out of turn mode, it takes a few seconds for your turn meter to build back up, but then you can just immediately drop back into it. So the combat is really, really interesting, and there's a lot that you can do with it. I've only played a couple hours, but so far there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of differentiation in the enemies. So far, I don't know if that's going to be an issue, but if it's like going to be the same enemies over and over, it's going to be a little disappointing.
Yeah,
because you don't have as much reason to sort of go out and try all these different combinations, other than for the sheer joy of it. Because I can't wait to see what everything in this game does just by mixing and matching all this different stuff. I want to see if someone out there has actually calculated the number of possible combinations in this game, because it seems like it's going to be a lot. It's so like delved into like computery and programmery stuff that I immediately fell in love with this game because of that.
Cool cyberpunk stuff where it's like, of course it's functions. That's what the world runs on.
And of course, yeah, it has to be functions. I was a little like, all right, come on. The modifier functions clearly should have been other functions passed as parameters to the active function.
Right.
Clearly. Like they should have been keyword arguments or something. Come on. And just the amount of stuff in the function menu that you can do and like look at, and it's unbelievable. The voice acting is phenomenal as usual. They brought back the narrator,
nice,
which is great. He's the if you've seen the previews and stuff, he's actually the voice of the sword.
Oh, okay.
That she carries around, so that gets real interesting. The main character's mute, doesn't silent protagonist. I don't think I can think of anything more to say about this game. It sounds
super good.
It is super good, and there's people I know that picked this up and like have no interest in these types of games, and we're like, "What? This is awesome!" I would
love one of those bridge games.
Yeah,
yeah. Let me show you Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah. Well, the more I thought about this, the more I thought, well, you could take the action element out of this. Yeah, you could just turn this into like a turn-based tactics RPG.
Right. With
this system, and you could have a tactics RPG that doesn't have a grid. And I almost just want them to do that now.
Yeah, because there are very few SRPGs that don't have a grid.
Yeah, that don't rely on a grid and don't feel like a board game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be. I don't know if they could pull it off. Supergiant's 10 people
at most. Yeah.
Yeah. But if they were to, license this, or if someone were to like look at this and go, "Oh, okay, I see how they do that."
Yeah.
I could see this. This is like the type of like change in RPG combat that I've been like waiting for.
Yeah.
Like I have to be engaged for this. I can't just ignore and like, oh, it's turn based. I'll just hit X.
Just gonna hold down X and look, I won! Yay!
It's over. So far, the story is interesting, but I'm not sure where it's going. It's you sort of start in the middle of it. They Tarantino you in the middle of it, and then you just sort of they give you hints and clues as to what's going on, but not like any like straight exposition as to what happened before you jumped into the game.
Right. Oh, come on, Master Control took over.
Don't you hate when that happens?
I know.
MCP just takes over.
Right. Wait till the recognizers show up.
Yeah.
So I played a little bit of that, but I spent almost all my time this week playing Infamous Second Son because I can't stop because it's fantastic.
How far are you through it?
85% complete.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think you're a little bit further than I am now. I basically last time I played it, I got to the point where they passed the halfway point where they kind of let you into the bottom half of the city.
Yes.
And then it opened up again, and I was sort of like, okay, I gotta take a breather here.
I have one district left in that area to tell you how far I am.
Nice.
So I have to get Uptown unlocked. Or no, I have like a couple of drones in one other area because I had a Karma bomb, but I hadn't finished everything in the area. But the the district challenge had unlocked. So I was like, okay, well, I've got this before I ruin this by accidentally killing a civilian.
Someone.
Yeah, I'm going to go take care of this.
Yeah.
And just wail on dudes. Did you get the final power yet?
No. But I feel like I'm almost right there.
Be prepared to be really frustrated trying to get that last power.
Okay.
Just know that going in, and you'll probably have a better time than I did. I almost put my controller through the TV.
Jeez.
So it takes a turn, and you end up in like a kind of a boss fight situation. Kind of like a traditional boss fight situation that you wouldn't normally see in this type of game.
Yeah.
And it doesn't fit as well. And I think that's kind of what they were going for, was like, oh yeah, this doesn't fit, but it was like, no, this is annoyingly difficult.
Yeah, and instead of like changing the game up a little bit, you're just sort of like, well, why would this happen in this game?
And it makes sense why, like, there's totally, like, you totally get why it would happen. You just wish it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
That was the only part of the game I found exceedingly frustrating so far. It's probably the only part of the game if someone was like, oh, if you change one thing, it's like, yeah, I would change this.
Yeah.
But after it, everything gets way, way cool, way more awesome. In that whole second area of the city, like, basically, you start in the outskirts of Seattle, and you make your way into, like, downtown about halfway through the game.
Yeah.
As you've seen, and then from there, like, the enemies just seem to get more difficult. Like, they're a little tougher. They're a little harder to get, like, a little harder to close distance on without just getting decimated by like 3 guys.
Yeah,
because you're sort of throughout the whole game, you're sort of a glass cannon. There's really you don't have a lot of defensive powers at all. Your whole defensive power thing is pretty much just, oh, well, my power protects me from, bullets that are trying to penetrate my skin.
Yeah.
Hey, the best defense is a good offense.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I found my favorite way to build up, because really I just shoot guys individually until I can get the karma bomb going, and I just use that because why wouldn't I? The best way I've found to do it is just lob the neon grenades that they have that stuns enemies. So you can get like 2 or 3 guys stunned, and when you hit them, it'll actually give you a karma point that goes towards the bomb. So I'll get like 8 or 9 of those, and then just...
That doesn't sound good.
Then just situate myself in the middle
the
of
bomb.
It goes towards the bomb. Situate myself in the middle of a bunch of guys, and then just blow everything up. It's just so satisfying to pull that move off every time. But yeah, this is a fantastic game. This is like the showpiece of the PS4 right now, and if you have a PS4 and you haven't played this game, you're doing it wrong. You're using your PS4.
You should fix that.
Yeah, you really should.
I really hope they come out with a kind of a remastered, or at least kind of slightly up-ported double pack of 1 and 2.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Because I feel like so many people missed the first 2, and both of them are really, really good.
Yeah. There was, I ran across a store that was called Cole McGee's in the game, which made me happy.
Yep.
Have you seen the Phoenix Jones posters?
No, I don't think
in
so.
The game? So, for people, there's a dude in Seattle who goes by the name Phoenix Jones. He actually goes out and fights crime in a costume.
Huh.
And there's actually posters of him in Infamous.
Interesting.
If you find him, he's an interesting dude.
Yeah, I'll have to keep an eye out.
Yeah, so it's it was funny when I saw it the first time. I was like, oh, that's weird. Okay. But now that I have like 3 different powers, I've found myself... The last power is cool once you get some of the upgrades for it, and once you spend some shards upgrading it, it's really fun to play with. It's not as much fun as Neon, which is a shame. You think like the last power you get would be like it's gonna be the best.
Yeah, like, I'm almost way too powerful.
Yeah, and it kind of is.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. Like, I think my favorite thing about Neon though is the unlimited dash. You can just hold down circle and you can run across the entire city in a matter of minutes.
Yeah, just dash up buildings and stuff. And it's just Honestly, it just looks too cool. Neon just, especially when you're absorbing it from stuff in the environment, it just looks so cool.
Oh, yeah, and it turns into like that powder almost, and you're just like...
Yeah.
And the last set of powers is very cool. It'll help you, it's almost necessary for a couple of the things in the last part of the game. You wouldn't be able to, let's say you wouldn't be able to keep up with some of the stuff in the last part of the game without it.
Right.
But at the same time, it doesn't have it doesn't pack the same punch as Neon does.
Yeah.
But that's literally all I played this week.
All that I've played this week, except for some stuff that we'll talk about during news stories, is, of course, Diablo 3.
Sweet.
So Blizzard wrapped up their second-year anniversary celebration where it was 100% more drops. And at the end of that, they said, hey, everybody really liked that, so that's just going to be Diablo 3 now.
Oh, nice.
Congratulations, you get much better drops.
That's fantastic.
So with that, I said, you know what, I've been playing a Demon Hunter, and I played that class almost exclusively since it came out originally.
Okay.
And I played a little bit of the Wizard, but I was kind of still a little frustrated that I picked another ranged class. So
Wizard.
I said, let me try something that seems totally different. It seems like something I would never play, and I'll play the Witch Doctor.
Okay.
Knowing very, very little about it, thinking that it was going to be kind of like the Wizard, so I didn't really understand why there was a difference. Not really knowing that the Witch Doctor is a lot like the Necromancer from Diablo 2.
Yeah.
So it's primarily a pet-based class. I'm level 67 now, which, man, leveling in that game is super fast. But I have about, at any given time, I have about 15 pets rolling around with me, and I really don't need to do anything to kill stuff. And
you sort of need to look at it.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
But just the amount of stuff, because of the new loot drops that I have on that character, is incredible. Even some stuff that I really needed for my Demon Hunter that was dropping for the Witch Doctor. But the thing, since my fiance and I are still kind of moving after the fires sort of delayed us last week, the reason why I've been playing Diablo 3 so much is because I can hop in and I can play for about 10-15 minutes or half an hour if I get enough time, and then kind of pause it and then go take care of something in the house that I either forgot to do or had just cropped up, and then wander back about 15-20 minutes later, and then just kind of hop back into it. As long as nobody is jumping into my party and saying like, hey, let's go do this stuff, then it's surprisingly easy to hop in and out of when maybe I'm up here playing it when I shouldn't be. So that's kind of a positive.
Isn't that the whole purpose of us playing games? Is we should be doing other stuff, but
yeah, I should be finishing up my house, but I
should be doing dishes, but I really need to.
Yeah, I'd rather
play
just
Battlefield.
level up my Witch Doctor. It's totally normal. And I played some other stuff, but we'll talk about it during the news stories. So let's take a break.
Sweet.
I'm gonna sit here and eat some orange Kit Kats.
My allergies just punched me in the face. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's fine.
Did notice.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Or did I hear you say orange Kit Kats?
Oh yeah.
So it's got the orange chocolate in it?
No, it's not orange chocolate. It's actually the stuff between the wafers is orange cream.
Ah.
Do you have a World Market near you?
Yes.
Go there and just buy crazy Japanese candy.
They
have this whole section in the back of crazy candies around the world.
That is one of the worst things about you moving away, is I don't get any more of this crazy, weird Japanese candy stuff.
World Market is now my new source for crazy candy. They have Pocky.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
I still really like those lychee candies you gave me. The
Oh
ones
god,
you
they're
didn't
so
like.
good.
The heck was it? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I just got a new shipment of popcorn in, so I'm set for a while.
Nice.
A popcorn machine.
Still cooking away.
Oh, so good. Oh, I saw Days of Future Past yesterday.
Oh, how was that?
It was good.
Yeah.
It wasn't great. It was good.
Yeah. I really wish that Fox would give that stuff to Marvel.
Yes, I believe they could do a little bit better, but I think in reference to their kind of universe, I think they handled what happened in previous movies very well with what happened in this one. And Quicksilver wasn't nearly as bad as he looked in those few pictures.
Oh, good.
But yeah, there was a great scene with him running around, and he had the headphones on, playing Time in a Bottle.
Nice.
Like it was a really good scene.
Yeah, the only thing that I really hate that Marvel doesn't have, the X-Men stuff and the Spider-Man stuff is that it's that sort of thing where it's like, oh, now, Wolverine and Spider-Man are in the Avengers, except they can't.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that I always really liked, even when I wasn't really reading comics, was sort of like, oh, they relaunched the Avengers again, or like there's a new lineup, and it's crazy. Why are these people in here?
Yeah, those are always my favorites. Like, I didn't know he was an Avenger. Like,
yeah,
what?
That's like, oh, Spider-Woman was an Avenger. Oh, okay.
Then you start going through the back catalog. It's like, who are these guys on the West Coast? What?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a whole bunch of. I love comics.
Yeah.
I really do. I just read the most latest version of issue of Invincible, and poor Mark, man.
Yeah.
That kid it's just one tragedy after another. Like, he gets sent off to an alternate universe, comes back, and now Eve wants nothing to do with him. And then all of a sudden he just starts getting punched. Like, he runs away, like Eve throws him out, he runs away. Then he gets raped by one of the other Viltrumites.
Oh, I saw that.
and then like literally the next issue, what happened to send him to an alternate universe comes back and bites him in the ass again.
Great.
What?
Oh, it's bananas. That book is amazing.
Yeah.
What book?
Invincible.
Oh, okay.
I haven't been reading a lot of stuff after Amazon screwed up Comixology on iOS.
Yeah, what happened with that?
So, probably about a month, maybe 2 months after Amazon bought Comixology, they removed they stopped supporting their old app. They removed it from the App Store, and they launched a new version.
Okay.
In this version, you can only read comics on it. You can no longer buy comics via the app. Which...
Oh.
Why?
Well, because Amazon doesn't want to pay the 30% to Apple. Which, sure, I get, but also you're Amazon, so you probably take 30% out of someone else.
Yeah.
The thing that really kills me is that they say that their website is a lot more mobile friendly now. That's not the case.
No, it's not.
Because the thing I always loved is I loved going in the app and going into what was released this week. It's just laying in my bed and just tapping a bunch of stuff, adding to the cart, and purchasing it. And then
That's the best thing about it.
The thing that I liked even more was being able to go back to read a series that was already done and just pick up the first issue, and if I liked it, at the end it would just say, hey, do you want to keep reading this? Yes, I do. Boop, and done. But now I have to get out of the app, I have to open Chrome, I have to find it in the store, and then I have to go buy the next issue. And it's not... I'm more than happy to keep giving them my money, but it's not as easy for me to do so anymore.
Oh, yeah. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
God, Amazon's messing up all over the place lately.
Yeah, like, I get it, but I get why they're doing it, but I just... I don't think people are going to spend as much money with them. So
I mean,
and you're absolutely right.
That's the sad thing about. I mean, the app, like the Android, when I had it on my old tablet, was amazing. Like it worked perfectly, everything I wanted to. And the Windows 8 app, it just seems to be fighting me at every turn. And it's not that it's bad, but it's not as convenient. Like, it doesn't have the keep reading feature. But I mean, you can't beat the fidelity of that.
Yeah,
really can't.
Like, it's the best mode to flip through pages, and just I can barely read that and zoom into it. Yeah, guess what?
I mean, I have it on my.
Now I can read it.
I have it on my iPad Mini, and doing whatever guided view, I think they call it, where you double tap the screen. I mean,
that's amazing.
It's and that to me is the only way to read comics, because you're not looking at the next page going like, "Oh man, something messed up is happening over there. What's going on?"
Yeah. I love that where you have like on the left you're gonna have like 4 or 5 panels to go through.
Yeah.
But on the right you've just got a full page and you're just like, I can't wait to see what that says.
There's like a planet exploding and you're like, "What's going on?"
For sure.
Yeah, it's just such a bummer for a service that I feel like really had nothing wrong with it, and I feel like it was instrumental in getting me back into loving comics, was just being able for them to be like, "Do you want to read the next one?" I was like, "Well, yeah, here's $4 more. Okay." And just going down this rabbit hole.
It's amazing. Like it was, I'm probably spending anywhere between $15 to $30 a month on comics.
Oh, easily.
Just because of these apps.
Yep,
that's crazy.
Like, it's so easy. Just okay. It's almost like it's play money.
Yeah.
But totally. But just to give you an idea, like, here's Invincible 111. Like,
ooh.
Like, with this art style, the violence is just, it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts.
Nice.
Oh, I gotta pull up Twitter. Whoops.
Alright, I will get show notes open here. But yeah, it's really cool. And I mean, going back and like finding like an older series, like you said, usually it's discounted like $1.
Yeah, because like honestly, I would like to go back and I would like to read X-Men from issue 1.
Yeah.
Oh, Mutant Genesis is a great place to start.
Well, no, I mean like number 1.
Really?
Yeah, because they have all of that stuff from back in the 60s when it started.
Yep.
70s. And a lot of those early issues are like $1.
Yeah.
But I don't want to have to go and read one or buy. So the problem that I still have with comics is, they'll come in and say, like, here's X-Men, this arc. And it's like, great. Where do I start? Like, I would love to read all of these arcs because they'll take all of the kind of comics around it. But, But previously, you'd be able to buy X-Men issue number 1, and once you're done reading that, it would say, "Would you like to purchase issue number 2 and keep reading?" Yes, I would.
Which one did that? There was one that was bouncing, like it was like, here's this arc, but it was bouncing between 4 different, in the same storyline, 4 different franchises.
Yeah.
In between these, and I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, I bought one.
I don't have to hunt around for this stuff.
I bought one that was like that. I think it might have been AVX, where it was like, okay, now the next issue is like Spider-Man number, 285, and then after that they're like, all right, we're gonna swing it back over to like Uncanny X-Men number 183, and it's just like,
yeah,
okay, well the story is continuing, but this is like, I would have never been able to find that out myself without buying
without getting a sub card, like the subscription card that's got all the issues. This is the tie-ins and all this stuff. And
it's such a shame. I mean, I want to keep giving them more of my money than I should be, but they're making it hard for me to.
Just absurd. What it sounds like to me is when Comixology, when it was before Amazon, it was a solution to piracy for comics. Because it's rampant in comics. You think it's bad in video games, you have nothing on comics.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Anything's ripped on the internet. You can read it right on the internet.
Yeah, it's a PDF in a web page.
For sure.
Yeah.
And So now it sounds like Amazon is just like, no, you need to give us your money, but you need to do it this way, and people are just going to go, no thanks.
Yeah, because Amazon instead of getting 70% of the money, they want 100%. Which, sure, I can completely understand from a business standpoint, but from a customer standpoint, it's a little tougher to swallow.
But I don't even understand from a business standpoint, because if you actually factor in, the human factor, your customers not being able to give you their money more easily, you're going to make less money even though you're making 100%. Than you would if you just took the 70.
Yeah.
And I get them not wanting to share with Apple. This is the reason that Amazon's getting a little too big for its britches. It's the reason they have their own app store on Android. They think they're hot stuff in the digital realm.
Well, it's in the mobile realm with them and Hachette right now too.
Oh yeah, and then there's that, which I'm a little more understanding of because I think publishing needs to die and be reborn. If you're up close on any sort of textbook publishing, you want publishers to die.
Yeah.
They charge so much money for so little. It's a
scary industry.
It is. It really is.
Well, it's the same thing that kind of happened with the whole music industry. It took rampant piracy to tear it down.
Yeah.
And get the people that were pretty much just being leeches off of talented individuals to produce their own records without having all these labels.
Yep. Yeah.
When it's an old antiquated system that needed to be upgraded, they wouldn't do it until they were forced to.
Well, and it's funny when you look at something like Comixology that was getting it so right for so long, and compare it to something like the PlayStation Store on Vita, which is, or even Steam, which is sort of this. Hey, you want something? It's going to be here. It's going to be really easy for you to spend your money. Yep. And you can download it wherever the hell you want. We don't care. You already bought it. And for a digital store like this to take such a step backwards was... I mean, it was one of those things where I loaded up the new app. I was like, great, maybe they fixed it. They made it faster. And I kept trying to find the store. And I was like, Where is it? There's no icon for store, and eventually there's a place you can go, and they're like, "Yeah, you have to go on the webpage now to do that." And I was just like, I don't get it. What is it? Is this a bug? Did I get an early version?
But that's the other thing that just blows my mind is why would they wreck the app where most people would use it would be on an iPad?
Yeah,
that's just.
I mean, and that's also where you want that to happen, because that's... Yep. I mean, it's arguably the most popular tablet platform. Whether or not it's the best selling or not is certainly not the case. But it just... It's one of those decisions where you're just like, I don't understand why you would do this. I kind of get it, but I don't think I agree with it at all. That would be like Sony saying, hey, we're going to shut down the PlayStation Store. You have to buy everything from only Best Buy now. And it's like,
no, we have to buy it from Best Buy's website.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh no, why? And they're like, yeah, we're only going to make physical games now. And it's just like, I don't. Why would you do this to us?
Because they can.
I guess. I can not spend my money.
It's so sad.
All right, let's kick off this next part here.
All right, you guys ready?
Yup.
Yes.
All right, welcome back, oh shit. All right. Fuck. Okay, I'm done. All right, ready in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. We got releases this week for the week of May 26, 2014. Watch Dogs for the PC, PS3, PS4, 360, and XBO.
Man, I hope this is good.
Me too.
Man, I'm just crossing my fingers that it's at least competent, because I feel like there's been so much BS surrounding this game that I feel I almost kind of feel badly for Ubisoft a little bit, because all anyone is talking about is, the delay. It was supposed to be a PS4 launch game, and the graphics have been downgraded and all this, but I still kind of don't care about that. I just want to wander around digital Chicago and hack some stuff.
Me too.
Welcome to the lessons of Duke Nukem.
Yeah.
Right. Hopefully it's not that bad.
The Sly Cooper collection comes to the PlayStation Vita.
I might pick that up. I don't think I know I've never played a Sly Cooper game before.
Me too.
We talked about buying that collection last time it came out too.
Yeah, for PS3.
3. Yeah.
I feel like that could be kind of a good. I feel like a 3D platformer like that would be pretty good on Vita, as long as it runs well. Which it's a PS2 game, so hopefully
it should be okay.
Yeah, that should be kind of a cool platform to play that on.
Indeed.
And Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U.
Man, good job, Nintendo, for totally screwing up battle mode, by the way.
What'd they do?
So, in previous entries, battle mode has always had, like, an arena. And that's not the case this time. You can only... So, Mario Kart 8 is kind of 2 games smushed into one. It's all of these cool new tracks, and then it's these slightly redone classic tracks, which is kind of like the greatest hits from previous Mario Kart games. You can only play battle mode on the classic tracks.
That's weird.
You don't want to do because it's not an arena. Like it's so opposite to what you actually want.
Yeah.
No hiding behind thwomps anymore.
Yeah, like
right?
I don't understand. This is sort of piggybacking on our conversation during the break about Comixology screwing up what they've got.
Yeah.
How do you screw up? This is the 8th Mario Kart game. Just do it again and people will buy it. Like, you already figured out the formula.
Just do it. Do what you're told.
Yep.
Yeah.
You have it right. You have the recipe. Why would you forget ingredients?
And it's so funny because, like, a lot of times people are like, oh, I can't believe they just put out another Metroid game. And it's like, yeah, but whenever they try to experiment with this stuff, they do it wrong.
Yeah.
So just keep doing it. So weird.
It is weird.
Alright, let's move on to news stories here. Against all odds, the Kickstarter for the second Amplitude game somehow succeeded.
It did it.
With less than 20 hours to go, they passed the $775,000 limit. They announced a stretch goal. Let me pull up the exact number here.
Oh, yeah.
For online head-to-head multiplayer, which was $1.125 million, which was never going to happen.
No, it wasn't.
But they eventually did raise $844,000, $844,127. So, thankfully, that eases the burden off of Harmonix a little bit, because they had said that the total cost of the game, they were going to get less than half of it from Kickstarter. So let's assume that game cost them $2 million to make. So thankfully that eases the burden from them. And you know what? I'm happy to be able to play that game May of next year.
Yep.
Same here. They announced a whole ton of really great artists that they've already signed to the game, like Anna Monoguchi, Danny Baranowski, the person who makes the music for Minecraft, and then of course all of the incredibly talented people at Harmonix, which they've already been sampling a couple of the songs they've been working on, and they sound pretty ridiculous. Thankfully,
you can see the nodes coming already.
Well, thankfully Harmonix said at the beginning, they're like, look, we're going to make this game as hard as the original too. Like, you guys like this game because of the electronic music, we're going to have that, and you like it because it gets super hard on the hardest difficulty.
Oh, and great, no POD this time.
Yeah. And it sounds like they're going to make it even harder, so that would be super great.
That would be. So I have one concern about this game.
Okay.
The triggers?
Yes.
Yeah.
There it is.
I am really curious to see how they're gonna deal with that. I think on the PS4, that's much less of a concern for me than the PS3.
See, it's not. My concern is not. So it's not like like is it going out or in on the triggers? My concern is the fact that they're triggers.
It's the travel distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for anyone who's never played amplitude or frequency. There's a couple different ways you control the game, but there's really only one way to play these games. And that is with L1, R1, and R2 on the PS2 controller. Now, on the PS2 controller, that R2 button is just a big button. You can just hit it. On PS3 and PS4, that is a trigger. You have to depress that a certain amount.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to mitigate that. Maybe triangle R1, L1. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how they address that. I mean, I have a lot of faith in Harmonix, and I feel a lot better that they're saying, yeah, it's coming out for the PS3 and PS4, and they're not saying, well, but might want to stock up on a special controller or something.
I think that's the way it's going to have to be, because because that control style. Now, who was it? Rodney
Maybe.
Was like, I love this game, but I can't play it because my thumb doesn't move fast enough. And then we discovered the other play style using the trigger, and then the game opened up. We're like, and then we didn't put it down for 3 years.
Yeah, I think that's a legitimate concern. I'm very curious to hear how they're gonna fix it, or if they're gonna say like, hey, Mad Catz makes these trigger things like they did on the PS3. Maybe you should buy some of those. Who knows? Next news story here: Steam in-home streaming now live for everyone.
Yay!
So I got into the beta for this back when they announced it, and it didn't really work. So I kind of never got back to it. But once they launched this finally for real, I went through and I updated all the Steam client on all the machines in my house. And what's really great is, so I have a Windows PC up here. That's my my gaming PC, and then down in my living room I have my MacBook Pro, which is a 2011 model, 2010. So it's a couple years old, and then I have a Mac Mini hooked up to my TV. So I figured, well, let me try to play something on my MacBook Pro, which has trouble playing Diablo 3 because it doesn't have the best video card. From my machine upstairs over my wireless network. Let's just kind of give it the hardest thing that I can give it. And the first thing I popped in was Borderlands 2.
Okay.
So the interface, I really want people to understand this because it actually works. The interface is you load up Steam on your Windows machine. It only works on the streaming from machine is only Windows for right now.
Okay.
You fire up Steam on there, and then on your other machine, you fire up Steam and you see all of the games that are installed on that other machine.
Nice.
And you just double click on it, and it slides your screen to the side, and it just starts streaming that game. And I was playing Borderlands 2 1080p 60 frames a second on my Mac Mini, and it wasn't hitching at all. I mean, it was incredibly. It was one of the things where I fired it up and like, oh man, like my fiance was sitting next to me. I was like, look at this disaster that I got coming up, and it's smooth. I don't understand how they did it, but it was incredibly smooth to the point where I was sort of like, wow, this is kind of nuts. I don't. So I was like, all right, let me put in something else. Let me fire up the first BioShock, because I figured that was something kind of lighting intensive. It's a little bit older, but if it starts stuttering, then maybe it's something that they wouldn't have optimized for home streaming if they would have gone and said like, well, let's make sure Borderlands, and that was smooth as hell. I played for probably about a half an hour, and I didn't have any problems. So, incredibly, it works.
That's awesome.
Somehow
I have to cobble together a computer.
Yeah. And as long as it can run some sort of OS and you have a fairly stable internet connection, which you should in your own home,
I would hope,
then you should be okay. And looking here at the article, it says it supports Linux too. So if you can cobble together a machine, install Ubuntu on it, install Steam on it,
All right.
Should be able to stream from anything or Steam
Somebody-
OS.
Somebody's done this on a Raspberry Pi already.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. So that's pretty incredible. I would like to. My next test is to hook up my 360 controller to my Mac Mini that I have connected to my TV. See if that works. Because if
if you break the universe, we know boss is the culprit.
I apologize.
Yes.
I divided by 0.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah. Next news story here. There's not a ton of details, not a ton of firm details here, but this is the ongoing hullabaloo between ZeniMax and Oculus VR. ZeniMax sued Oculus this past week.
Yeah, they did.
They are saying that the timeline of Oculus Rift's transition from hobby project to Facebook sale, they're saying that it could not have become a transformative technology without the work contributed by John Carmack and other ZeniMax employees while they were at ZeniMax.
Weak.
And they're saying that the Oculus founder had ongoing contact with ZeniMax employees and Carmack before the Kickstarter project, and then ongoing after that. The weird thing is that ZeniMax hasn't really said what they want, which I thought was a very strange omission. They're just sort of saying, like, hey, they did this, we're going to sue them. It's like, well, what do you want? Like 10% of something, some stock, or like what's the end game here?
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be one.
Yeah, and Oculus VR responded with the lawsuit filed by ZeniMax has no merit whatsoever. As we've previously said, ZeniMax did not contribute to any Oculus technology. Oculus will defend these claims vigorously. So that seems like a really weird. That seems like a really weird lawsuit where it's sort of like, yeah, I can understand that. I can understand from ZeniMax's perspective that they are concerned that this technology was developed on their time with their employees and their resources. Yeah. It sure doesn't seem like that as an outsider. And I can understand them needing to file a lawsuit to protect something. Protect IP or protect technology or something. Like a lot of times you have to when you're suing over trademarks. But what do you want? It's kind of a basic question of, sure, you're going to sue people, but for what? Do you want the Rift? Do you want money? Like, what are you doing?
I don't know. It just seems they have a lot of, like, I saw the whole release they did with, the timeline and stuff, and it's just sort of like, yeah, we know Carmack was helping them.
Yeah. That was pretty public.
Yeah. He was really psyched about it. I remember the first time I'd heard about the Rift was when Carmack was developing the head mount for it.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to wear it on his face.
Yeah, it's really weird. We'll continue to follow it, but it's just...
Yeah.
It's
and
so odd.
A lot of this comes back to, if you work in the tech industry, you are subject to these extraordinarily difficult to enforce, really kind of silly non-compete clauses when you sign a contract with a company.
Yep.
It's sort of foreign and weird to anyone that doesn't work in IT or tech. It's becoming increasingly more, it happens a lot more in other industries now too, but like in tech and anything where you're creating software, it's always been, if you do any work while you work at this company, it's ours.
And it's just not software or hardware, it's even intellectual property too that they're trying to compete stuff.
Well, since I work in the video game industry and we make software for the video game industry, you guys would probably poop yourselves if you saw the NDA and the non-compete that I'm under. Both of them are very strict.
It's probably wild. Yeah.
All right, moving on to our last news story here. A game that I never thought we would really talk about on the show. Sony's SingStar karaoke game.
Finally.
I thought this was kind of cool that they're coming out with a PS4 version. But they this is something I've been thinking about a lot lately. They're not really selling microphones with SingStar anymore. The PS3 ones will work, but they're now releasing a free iOS and Android app for smartphones and tablets to turn those into microphones for SingStar. And I read that and I was like, that's kind of dumb. And I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute. No, that's actually a really good idea, because if you get 8 people together in a room and you say like, hey, do you guys want to sing a little karaoke? You have 8 microphones now. Because I don't think I've met someone who's like, yeah, I don't have a phone.
Yeah. I know a couple people, and it's always sort of like, oh god, okay.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, and so I think, I've been thinking about this lately because, Harmonix a while ago said, hey, we're going to bring Rock Band to PS4 and Xbox One somehow later. But it's definitely coming. And I was like, but how are you going to do that? No one is going to buy those controllers again.
No.
Like, I probably would because I'm dumb and I have a problem.
Well, yeah.
But, like, those controllers aren't going to work, and no one's going to buy those again. So how are you going to make that work? And I think this is an interesting kind of first step on, how do you make a karaoke game work for a bunch of people that have a console, but they don't want to spend like $100 or $120 to get a game and 1 mic, or maybe 2 mics.
Yeah.
And now everyone has a mic.
Like, you could almost make this free to play, base game with like 10, 20 songs, and then DLC them to death.
Or subscription.
Yeah, there you go.
Something like that. So that's kind of a crazy idea that I really hope works. And they said they're going to patch the PS3 version to support that app as well. So, that's pretty good. I kind of got to give some credit to Sony for doing a little bit of forward thinking there on a franchise that kind of didn't need it.
But yeah, I mean, even the fidelity on all these microphones has gotten significantly better.
Oh, they're incredible.
Yeah.
Now I can't pee while I'm on the phone anymore because I always know.
First world problems. All right, let's move on to emails this week. Actually, we only have one email. The first one is titled Battlefronting from Dave, a.k.a. RoboPig. He says, hey guys, since Knobs has been pouring some love on Battlefield 4 recently...
That's putting it lightly.
What are you thinking about the chances that the new Battlefront will be BF4 skinned in the Star Wars universe? Do you think they'll keep the unlock system from BF4 so the weapons will have various scopes and upgrades? Think it will have to include a class system as well? I'm hoping it will include some maps from locations in the original trilogy, hopefully none with damn Ewoks running around. Thanks as always for the awesome podcast.
Take my money.
Yeah, I think the chances of that happening are fairly high.
Yeah.
EA really loves the Frostbite engine.
They do.
And I think if you have a game that's done, maybe you just say it's not a rifle scope, it's a laser blaster scope. You're replacing strings. And then just saying like, hey, this level's on Hoth. Hooray.
Hey, art team, slap some chrome on this and ship it. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we need more light speeders. Let's go.
Yeah. So I think when you look at
it,
when you look at it like this, and I'm assuming some team at EA is probably working on Battlefield 5.
Yeah.
I could only imagine what that's like in a Battlefield setting with Star Wars stuff, like having those little AT-AT walkers, like running all over the street, light speeders, like screaming across the map, like even TIE fighters and X-Wings up in the sky crashing down.
Yep. I mean, the last Battlefront, which was the last Battlefront? 2?
2?
Yeah.
That was an outstanding game, and that was 10 years ago?
Longer than that.
Yeah, 15 maybe? It was on the original Xbox and PS2. So it's been a long time, and I think with the improvements that have happened to the kind of the Battlefield franchise overall.
Yeah. 9 years.
9 years, wow. Okay.
Yeah, October 05.
Whew.
Yeah.
So I think with the improvements on that franchise overall, I think when you start talking about a new Battlefront game, I think that sounds even more appealing than the last one.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to play a ton of Battlefield back when it first came out. Or not Battlefield, sorry, Battlefront.
Yeah.
Back when it first came out, and just the amount of stuff you could get away with in that game was unreal.
Oh, yeah.
That's exciting. That is,
yes,
really exciting.
Yeah, I don't think they have a release date for that at all, do they?
Not that I've seen.
They'll probably, which, shudder to think, is like 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, God, that's...
Yeah, it's like, I love seeing off-center Star Wars. Like, off-center Star Wars franchises seem to be the best games of the series.
Yeah.
Like your Empire at War. There's no reason that game should work.
Oh, yeah.
None at all. Or taking a small little side story like with Republic Commando, it's still one of the most amazing first-person experiences in the Star Wars franchise. Every bit as good as Dark Forces was when it came out.
Yeah. Republic Commando was a revelation. Everyone I know who loved Star Wars was like, you need to play that game.
Yeah, and I feel like
blew my mind.
I feel like that was one of the games that unfortunately got missed for a lot of people, either because it was a Star Wars game and historically they've been really bad, or it was just one of those things where it came out at the wrong time.
I'm trying to remember when it came out, like right around when it came out. Like what else was coming out? It was... So that came out in...
a deluge of games at the time.
That was the tail end of the Xbox PS2 era. That was 05.
Oh, that was really
March 05.
Yeah.
So you're coming up on E3 2005. I think that was when PS3 and 360 were announced, if I'm not mistaken.
I think that was when PS3 was announced and 360 was launching.
Yeah.
Because I think the 360 had almost a year headway on
it did.
PS3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I remember that fateful E3 where Sony comes out and it's, $600, and Microsoft back there is like, all right, thanks, guys. Yeah, we got this one. We don't have to do anything.
High five.
Yep.
Seal this one up.
Oh, man. Yeah.
All right, well, that's all the emails we got this week. Thank you very much, RoboPig, for writing on in. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Email us at tvgpfans@gmail.com. Tweet us at tvgp. And everything else is on the right-hand side of the page.
And don't forget to join our forums. Please mark yourselves on the map. I love seeing where all our listeners are.
Yep.
Join us for Monday Night Game Night. Probably going to be Battlefield 4 because Naho.
At least for a little bit.
Anyway, and then Steam Game Night is Thursday, 10 p.m. EST. Join a Steam group and get your notification to hop in and play whatever we're playing. So.
Yep.
Current TVGP Game Club game is The Witcher. I'm hopefully going to be playing a little bit more of that soon. I've just been enveloped by Infamous. It has to be finished first. And we will be doing some stuff with the call-in show soon. So
nice.
Stay tuned.
And I think that's it for our episode. I'm gonna go level to 70. I'll see you all
go beat Infamous
next week.
Laters.
Peace.
I don't have any titles.
I've got maybe 10. So chat, hey.
Hey chat.
What you got?
How you guys doing?
All right. Today. I feel good about that swig. Naho. Come with your facts. Third sock represent. New German.
We can't use that.
As much as I'd love to, I have a bad feeling about what that means.
I even object to it. So imagine what that really means.
Yeah, imagine how filthy it is.
Horrifying. New German.
I wouldn't say filthy. I would say creamy. But
there we go.
Dr. Knobs reporting for duty. Hey, Mecha Hitler. Blutowski. Why would you forget ingredients? And battlefronting.
Battlefront sounds dirty.
Yeah, most of those sound dirty.
I know.
What's wrong with us this week?
To be fair, I wrote all of those down.
I kind of like Dr. Knobs reporting for duty.
I'm a fan.
Who said that?
Somebody said
I
it.
think I did.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
What's that representing?
Yeah.
I can't even remember when that came up.
It was for when you were sniping those dudes from like 800 meters away.
I got it. Yeah.
Surgeon.
Yeah.
The only thing I wish that game would have is the old UT announcer just saying headshot.
Yeah.
Every game needs that. That should be like de facto.
Double kill.
Triple kill.
Monster kill.
All right, let's just pick that one because
I
it's
don't know how
getting warm
close
in
it
this
is to
room. I
that
want to go.
voice, but
Fair enough.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 344 for May 26th, 2014. Dr. Knobs reporting for duty.
making it rain lead, sucker.
He's a lead stat.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us live in chat. See you next week. Peace.
Hey,